Coke Machine for Real Fishing. Welcome to the party. We're here to catch the evening bite on Lake Nipissing. I'm out here with Lake Nipissing Outfitters in their special super yellow hut that Al's lent me out for the night. So far I've been here since about 1 o'clock. I've seen on my camera a bunch of small perch come in, and then I actually just saw a nice size looking pike. Here we go. A nice size looking pike that rocked my underwater camera pretty solidly. All right, we got a little, little walleye here. Get him off the hook. Micro walleye. That guy was all of 8 inches long. Got him back in the water right away. So there you go. That's the first fish of the day, which is pretty great when it starts off right at the beginning of your live stream. Like I said, there were perch, and I could have caught them, but I was too busy messing around with other stuff. Like they were running around with my minnow in their mouth and stuff like that. So I sort of, I wasn't there to set the hook properly, but I could see them on the camera taking bites at everything. But anyway, so basically I have been out here since about 1. Everything outside is slush galore. There's been rain, but whatever, it's nice and toasty warm in here. I'm just taking it easy, getting my fish on. This time of day, the underwater camera has gone to nothing, and when I turn on the light, it just illuminates too many little debris pieces or plankton or whatever is down there. I'm not really too sure, so I'm not going to bother including that in the camera angle or anything. I will turn the camera on to my fish finder in a second. But so far, from what I've been reading online here, there's been times with not a heck of a lot of bites over the last couple of days. So I'm not really too sure how it's going to be for tonight, if it's going to be a slow night. I mean, I did just catch that little mini eye, but hopefully that's not the only fish. But we'll see. That's what makes it live. This is a live stream, so if the fish are going to bite, then you're going to see it. If the fish aren't going to bite, then I guess you'll just be hanging out with the old Coke machine here. So, I understand that a few outfitters are having to shut down their operations because certain parts of the lake, the southern part of this bay, I believe in the Fish Bay area there, has just gone to crap. Now, the lake out here looks slushy, and there's a lot of place where it comes right down to the ice. And the ride out here was a mess. But if you saw my live stream earlier about the ice conditions, and that sort of gives you the 10-4, there's about 11 inches of ice, and it's black, so that's good. But it's still pretty moist out there. So expect that if you're coming up for any kind of bungalow trip or anything like that. And then we'll see. It was kind of neat seeing the pike on my camera there, because all I could see was something moving, and as I looked a little closer, it was actually the fins coming in and out of the camera. So it was a sizable pike. Of course, when he's that close, probably any fish looks sizable. But earlier today, actually, my camera just shot across and was moving all around. And I figure a pike was bumping it around or something. But anyway, hopefully I'd like to catch that pike, don't get me wrong. But I'd also like to catch some of these walleyes here if I can. So hopefully that pike took off, and I'm sorry, I don't have them chasing all the fish away. Oh, sorry, it looks like I got, and I just did the bottom up there. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera around and focus on the fish finder here. course, the fish finder's on top of my minnow bucket, so that might get jostled around a little bit. Okay, so here we have my fish finder. We're in about 25 feet of water. I'm just gonna try to, as you recall, the brightness is always, it always comes off way brighter on my phone camera than it appears to me. Okay, that should be a little bit better. Give a bit of a view of what's going on here. Just gonna go through some of the comments. Bridget says, "Hey Coke." Oops, I lost it. Where'd it go? What camera are you using? Does it have a light or night vision? I am using the iYoyo E7 something or other. They sent it to me to test it out, and I'm still testing it out. I did a review video of it recently. Camera works pretty good. Nipissing is not a great example of a lake that cameras work great on. I have another camera, the Markham 485C, and that one has pretty much the same problems. When you turn on the LED, it illuminates all these little doodads in the water, and then when you just gonna try another lure out here, and then when you have the LED off, you have to turn up the brightness a lot to get to see anything. So in the end, it can come off kind of grainy, but not too bad. But this camera performs pretty much the same as my other one, except it's smaller and it's lighter, and that's why I like it. I'm actually lending my 485C Markham to my brother. I'm not saying he can keep it forever. I might want it back, who knows? But for now, I just prefer the lighter quality of this iYoyo camera. A lot of times when I'm going out, I'm walking, so I don't really, anywhere where I can cut a little bit of weight off of my gear, it's greatly appreciated. I got this, sending down this minnow clapper of mine. I got these glow blades that I've been making them with. I'm actually going to be jigging this one with a minnow head instead of putting a live minnow on. I have behind over here, you can see there's a dead stick rod back there, and that has a minnow clapper with a live minnow on it as we speak. I know some of the better fishermen I've ever met, they fished almost exclusively with minnow heads and not entire minnows. So it looks like there was something down there at the bottom. Earlier today, I could see a bunch of perch sort of coming in and out of my screen, and I caught one of them, and he was, I'd give it an 8. Wasn't a giant. I haven't caught any super giant jumbos yet this year, but I'm just gonna go through a few more of these comments. All right. So Steve, how you doing? Corey, how's it going, buddy? Species 8472. After seeing all the fish you caught the other day, I hope I start to see some action like that tonight. Nathan Recker, how's it going? Jeff Vanderkoy. Yeah, that was the minnow clapper again, got me my walleye there. Minnow clapper. Yeah, so 8472 species, got a stack of perch on the clappers this past weekend. Which of those clappers I gave you there, species were really doing well on the perch? Mohammed Karmali. How's the lake held up? I'm hearing a lot about thin slush on Trout Lake. Yeah, there's definitely lots of slush here. Trout Lake, not really too sure, but I haven't even looked at Trout Lake since I drove past it in the fall going to the Ottawa River to go fishing. Andrew Thomas just got back from Calendar today. Got about 14 walleye, 2 keepers, pike, and lots of perch. Another good trip to Rob's 5-star. That's awesome. Good to hear. Michael Gates said you wanted to rent the exact hut I'm in. The yellow one. I forget. Owl told me something about how this one wasn't for rent at the moment. Yeah, this is definitely a very comfortable shack here. I can give you a view of it here if you guys want to see it. So you got a stove over here, cool box up top, got lots of shelving, there's a nice seat there, nice windows, the old Coke machine right there, lots of good views. So I'm just gonna, it looks like I got a fish looking at my lure there. Let's see if he's gonna go for it. Ha! I think I caught something extremely micro. Uh-huh. All right. So here we have Mr. Perch. Went for my minnow head on the minnow clapper here. Not quite big enough for eating. So back he goes. I do enjoy eating perch, and I will eat them often. But I usually want them to be at least 9 inches before I go keeping them. All right, down we go. So this one minnow clapper I got on here right now is definitely a light, or pardon me, not a light. It's a glow. It's got heavy, it's like super glow blades or something like that. When I ordered the blades, they were like super glow. Oh, looks like I just had some action on my dead stick over there. And actually, they are super glow. The craziest thing about them is you barely have to have them in the light. As soon as you take them out of the light, they're glowing. So try to adjust things a little bit here. It's tough because there's a heater right over here, so I don't want to cook my minnows, but I also want you guys to see my dead stick in the background. So if you look right over here, there, you can see there's a dead stick. A dead stick over there. It moved a second ago. So I'm going to say, given the fact that I just caught a perch, I'm going to say that there's probably a few perch coming around down there. You can see it. There's definitely something below my lure here. Okay. Got the dead stick in the background. And then we got definitely my So I am jigging my active lure here. I had out some real noisy rattlers earlier and it wasn't really working out for me. But so far so good. Couple perch here. I've been contemplating, my brother and I will be fishing on family day long weekend. And I'm contemplating taking my son ice camping now. He's only 4. And he did talk about wanting to go ice camping. My brother wants to go to a Temagami area lake. And I'm thinking we should just go to Nipissing as like a first run, go out to the islands or whatever and see what it's like out there. And that way we can, if we have a problem, we just zip back into town. Whereas in the Temagami area lake, it would be a case of having quite a distance to get to where we would need to be if something came up. Of course, I know the last time I was on that Temagami area lake, it was horrible for slush, so I don't know if it's going to be a great spot to be. You know, I think I'm just going to move my dead stick a little bit so that it's just right in the screen here. I'm going to check my minnow on it for liveliness. It's important. Okay. Yep. Minnow is still kicking. Turn the heat down a little. Just a little too toasty. All right. All right, so now you guys can see. Sorry, I'm sure that was a lot of bumping around noises. Apologize. So you can see now that I got dead stick over there. I like this kind of rod holder for it. You know, as it tilts down and gives the fish a bit of space or time to like pull on it a little before they get on the hook. So I don't know if I can. I'm gonna try some of my other lures. Oh, looks like I lost my minnow head on here anyway. Everybody else, I have a tackle box full of lures, and right now I think I'm going. All right, I'm gonna. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. Usually it's one of my go-tos when you're rattlers. I love these lures. I will probably rattle up for a while and then I'll probably try some more minnow clapper action. The minnow clappers seem to be working, which is always nice. So Chris H, you're heading up to Nipissing on the 19th of this month to stay at Lake Nipissing Outfitters. Can't wait. Yeah, I think you won't be disappointed. Steve Powless. I'm supposed to going G. Species 8472. You say Fish Bay was a wet. Sluster fuck. I like that. Like that's a new term that I haven't seen before. Nipissing fishing hard water. Send me 5 bones. Thanks a million. Ah, so that's Kenster. That's awesome. Thanks a million, Kenster. Okay, just going through some of these messages here. Oh. Sorry. See, I thought no messages were happening. And now I'm scrolling back and realizing there's a lot. So Lucas Miller said not much visibility in the lake, about 6 inches from the bottom. Give or take, it's clear, but above is very foggy. Yeah. Jeff says, take your camera to Sunset Park. Try to find the 2 rods we lost down the hole. I wonder if one went scuba diving around, how much they would find out there. Rods and whatnot. I remember where I used to live in Yellick. I fired on my snorkel and went cruising around and found a bunch of golf balls. There's golf balls along the rocks and the shore. So X says, do you use bottom lock on your Garmin Coke? I don't often. One thing I've sort of learned out here is that, yeah, most of the fish are at the bottom, but if you want to have some fun with some Cisco, is that they often cruise at all sorts of different levels of the water column, and you can often see them come in midway or even towards the top, and if you get your lure in front of them and they're in the zone, you can often get them that way. So I sort of like to keep a view of the entire water column if I can for that purpose. I don't feel like I have a problem seeing what's at the bottom either. So it's pretty good. I'm just reading species 8472 here. 81 keepers, 5 species. We caught a fish every 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I like that. Did you have the timer going? 3 minutes and 40. So Jeff, were these like really fancy rods you lost down the hole? Or what? What are we saying here? All right, I'm gonna switch back to another minnow clapper here, and we'll see what we can catch. I really like the micro ones. They seem to, when things are slow, they seem to be a pretty good choice. And of course, the fish shows up right down there, right? Let me see if I can get my... Just gonna try to get my lure right down there right away. I might have been scaring him with my rattler. Okay, there goes my lure. You see the fish at the bottom. Oh. And then, of course, the fish promptly disappears. Of course. Oh, no, he's rising up to see my lure. Is he going to go for it? Come on. This fish is probably like, yeah, I heard this thing rattling. I didn't like it. Or I liked it enough to look, but that's it. Come on. Oh, no, he bumped it. He bumped it. And then he took off. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let my line sit there. I'm going to pick another lure. Alright. Then I'm going to put a minnow on it and send it on down. Let's see if we can get these fish on some... Oh, there he is. Come on. Oh yeah, got him. All right, so that's the rattle, my blue rattle bait. Yes, feels decent. Okay. Whoop. Sorry guys, this guy's all over the place here. Okay, I'm just gonna get this guy. All right, so we gotta have decent eye here. I don't think it's a keeper. Got on the hook really good. Okay, one hook out. Well, let's give him 14. Okay, I almost lost Al's minnow scoop down the hole. You can try to get it before it goes. There we go. Okay. Well, there you go. Wow. My line really tangled up good there. Not sure how this happened. Sorry, it's gonna take me a second. Now, I do very much enjoy my rattly baits. Get them out there when I can. Right now I'm going to try Minnow Clapper Phantom. I think I only made like 5 of these ones. Got a holographic blade on it. And this is one. So I kept one for myself and I sold all the other ones. Alright, so I'm going to grab a minnow. There's some very lively minnows in here. Okay. Look at this. Looks to me like we got a fish down there as we speak. See if we can clap them up. So here's the minnow clapper in action. There's your lively minnow. Put it under this dorsal fin. Let's see if we can get that fish that's down there right now to bite. It's interesting that the dead stick isn't really doing doing much for me at the moment. Okay, down goes Minnow Clapper Phantom. Looks like there was a fish down there a second ago. Now, some people might be saying, why don't you just keep trying to rattle them up with that rattle bait? I'm just thinking if there's a few fish down there, and if they're biting right now, I'd like to test out all these different clappers and see if they get the attention I'm looking for. All right, I'm just gonna go through some more questions here. So Lucas Miller says, love the different size blades in the minnow clappers. I'll be trying my one on Kuchiching. Yeah, I think none of them. I don't know people who have bought them where they're using them. I just assume everybody's using them on Nipissing, but I'd like to see how they work on different waters too. 108 fish in 6.5 hours. Species 8476 says the micro with the glow beads. Yeah, that is a classic. I have found those micro ones to work quite well. So it adds just enough, a little bit of flash. I'm just gonna let my rod sit there for a second. Yeah, looking at the weather report, I'm glad to see that there's some cold weather at night that's happening. But yeah, some of this weather in the weather reports, I'm just like, are you serious? Are you serious? It's this warm at this time of year? This time of year, like I've got pictures from 5 years ago where I have my beard is just like completely white. Guess it's just that kind of year, you know? So Ryan Tricker, you said your buddy bought us all minnow clappers and they work great. Right on. Yeah, it's a funny thing with all sorts of different lures, you know, because I've got my absolute faves that I get into, and sometimes they don't work, and then you're like, well, I'll just try this other lure that has never worked for me, but nothing's catching anyway. And then all of a sudden, you know, one of these other lures catches something, and it becomes your new favorite lure. Let's see. There's something down there, but I'm not sure. It could be just picking up my dead stick. Let's see if it is. It is. So sometimes it's funny that the dead stick can be a real winner. And then sometimes, like when I was at South River Resort there a week and a half ago, it was like the dead stick was the only thing picking up anything. And I've had times like that in the past where the dead stick has just been really killer. In fact, I've had times where I didn't even have a live minnow on there. It was like a salted minnow, so like no motion whatsoever. And that worked better than everything else. You know, it's these fish, you know, always surprising you. Yeah, I was thinking, species 8472, that if I was going to go do the ice camping, that I would, with my brother and the boyo there, that we would go to the Manitous. Just because it's like relatively close. Um, Chasing Ontario Outdoors says, hey, Coke, how's the fishing? It is not terrible. I've caught one micro walleye, one that was heading towards the slot, but I don't think he quite made it there. And then, I haven't caught any perch yet. Caught one earlier. See, it's funny. I'm tempted to fire that blue rattler back on. G Star says, "Where's the beautiful beard?" It's right over here, buddy. There we go. Starting to get dim in here. Of course, my son, I forget where he wore my headlamp, but of course I couldn't find it in time to get out here. All right, I think I'm gonna try another rattle bait since that seemed to work. In fact, I'll try the same rattle bait. We'll see if we can rattle some more up. There's more than one thing down there. Sorry. There's definitely my dead stick down at the bottom. You can see, but I feel like there's two lines there. Gotta be a... Gotta be a second fish under there. All right, we're gonna try that rattly bait again. Let's see if that works out. There's another guy in a hut not so far from me here, and I just peeked out the window, innocently to check out what's going on. And there he is taking a whiz. Guess that's what you gotta do out here. Alright, so I'm firing that same rattle bait back down because it worked. And, although I am committed to trying to really test out my minnow clappers, if something else is working, I'm not opposed. It was raining in here earlier today, and I just heard, tip tap tap tap. So oftentimes I like small golden rattle baits, but this one's blue, and I've had luck with blue too. Now, so my cameras, I can't really see anything out there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and shut it down. I know I didn't have it so you guys could see it, but. So let's see some more fish come in here. I guess the sun is setting, or if it hasn't set already. So it was like 5:15 it was setting. So I guess for those who haven't watched my live stream here, if you are coming out to any of the operations on the South Bay area here, I will be at the the primary launch with a big sign that says Minnow Clappers. CODWW2, say what time I stand out to. I will probably be out for at least 20 more minutes. So we're talking, I'll be out till 6 or so is when I asked Al to pick me up here. So if anybody's interested, Regan at Paradise Cove Cottages has told me that he's got an opening cancellation on the weekend of February the 8th. The guy who won the prize for this year's spoon toss, he went there actually just this past week. He got right to it, and he had quite a blast. He caught quite a few eyes there, a whole whack of perch, and a couple of pike. So seems like the bite's on at that end of the lake if anybody's looking for that kind of action. Bruce said on a minnow head. Phil S. He said, do minnow heads work on most rigs or better for jigs, given there's no movement? You know, a lot of people really go for the minnow heads. I saw them most used on like spoons. Like these first people who introduced me to using just the minnow head, they put it on a spoon, just the head on the hook, and it seemed to work fantastic for them. Kenster, Species 8472 says he subscribed to your channel. You got a channel? I'll check that out. I'm trying to work this rattler, but it seems like they're going pretty slow. I haven't seen any new fish show up on the radar here yet for a bit. Okay, I feel like there's, oh, we got a fish. We got a fish coming in. He's looking at it. He's looking at it. Come on, bite it. I'm sort of holding my breath here. I'm just anticipating a bite. Come on. Oh. I think I just saw my dead stick move. Come on. I'm gonna move my own dead stick for... Come on. It's moving that. Huh. Well, guess he came for a look. Decided not to go for it. Now what are you gonna do? Let's see what else I got in my rigs here. Might fire on the Sabile. You know, I'm gonna fire on this minnow clapper here. I got these fluoro beads. I'm gonna put on got a minnow tail here ready to go. So I'm gonna try that out. So this time I'll be jigging it. Oh, looks like there's some fish down there. Okay. Got the minnow tail on the clapper. Going down, it looks like there's fish down there. Let's see if we can get them to bite. Yeah, look at that. It's like my water starts coming down. It's like, nope. All right, I'm gonna see if I can turn on some of the lights in here. It's getting a little bit dark. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right. It's probably going to be live streaming for another at least 10 minutes. Okay. Looked like there was a small fish down there. You know, interesting thing about this hut is it sort of smells like somebody's been cooking like some kind of Japanese sushi food in here. Like it smells like something cooked in teriyaki. I know sushi isn't cooked. Well, some of it is, but it reminds me of the smell of a sushi restaurant, which I love. It's making me hungry for sushi. All right, we got old fish down there. There we go. All right. Okay. Easy, buddy, easy. All right. So, this guy really went for that. All right, so minnow clapper again. That guy's. Sorry, it's getting a little dim in here, but the tail on the old chartreuse minnow clapper seemed to be doing the job. That guy was I give him 14, 15. Not a giant. Okay. Obviously a throwback. All right. It looks like got another fish on the bottom down here. So sorry, it was a bit dim there for a second. Okay. seems like the fish are here, or at least, again, it's like a funny thing because my dead stick has a big live full minnow on it, and they just cruise right on past that. And I guess in this case, this is where you get to see how an active bait is panning out better at this moment. Okay. It's interesting when things get sort of challenging to see. Certain things get extra challenging, you know? So yeah, I probably got about 10 more minutes in this live stream, and hopefully we'll see another fish or two in that time. Okay, so you can see it's my lure there. Dead stick still holding true. So no keepers per se tonight, but a couple of walleye in an hour. Or I guess that was the third one there. Nothing wrong with that. When I saw that big pike bump my camera earlier, I thought to myself, like, oh man, this would be so awesome to try to fight this guy. And then I was thinking to myself, like, oh, I got my camera over here and the dead stick, and that pike is probably going to go around everything. Come on, fish. See up here. This is probably like a herring up here, so you can see. It's funny, sometimes I see the herring on my camera and they seem just indifferent towards the baits, and sometimes I swear they hammer your baits. Those little tungsten jigs seem to work really well for them. I'm gonna try to put on my reel. As it's getting darker here, try to put on my real noisy clapper here. Alright, so I know that mini clapper seemed to do pretty good, but it's getting dark and dim, and I want to put on my real bright glowing one, see how that works out. Wait, that's not the glowing one, is it? light, glow it up. All right, so look at the glow on that guy. Doesn't take much with those blades. They're called like super glow. Let's see if that fish that's down there right now will go for the super glow. So we got 4 minutes to go. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through some more of these comments here. Yeah, I think a lot of these fish are close to being keepers, but not quite. X, my favorite go-to fish batter. I'll tell you all about it. What I like to do is I take some flour, add like half teaspoon. Let's say we take two cups of flour. Let's go with that. 2 cups of flour, half teaspoon of baking soda or baking powder, pardon me. Maybe like a teaspoon of garlic, teaspoon of, or maybe half teaspoon of pepper. Probably fire in a tablespoon of Parmesan cheese. And if you don't have that, throw in like half teaspoon of salt. Add in some water. I'm not sure the exact precise amount. You keep adding it until it's like the consistency of toothpaste. And then the baking soda will allow the batter to sort of puff up. Add some air to it. And if you want, actually add an egg in there too. It helps keep the batter on the fish. I definitely like the wet batter these days, but I go all over the place. But that's sort of like very similar to like a codfish style fish shop batter. Corey, glad to hear you got your clappers. Yeah, Tim Price. Clap, clap, chomp, chomp. Come on, fish, don't let me down in my last minute. J-Star 1414. You said your favorite's Minnow. It's the dinner bell. Yeah, a lot of people, they like those dinner bells. I have a bunch of them because, of course, when a lure is hyped, I can't resist. I can't resist using them, and I've caught a few things on them. And I see lots of people catching fish with them, so I know they're good. Um, I'm still waiting to catch a monster or something on them, and then I'll be like, all right, these are my favorite. But I have a bunch, so don't think I'm not supporting the dinner bell company. So Joe Allman says Coke use a Meigs with a minnow hooked on the dorsal 8 inches off the bottom. I'm trying to think if I have an official Meigs. I feel like I buy those style of lures often, but I haven't used one yet this year. I don't know if I have one in my jig box here. I'll have to get my hands on some of those Meegs. Eight species 8472. I like that. Catch the clap. That should be my new slogan. It's funny, I never fish too much on Island Lake, but I know all about Island Lake. I used to go to the, what was it, the Outdoor Education Center. Yeah. You know, a lot of the places I've stayed, I never had a rent increase, even though I was there for years and years and years. But this is the first landlord that I've had that has actually like stuck to you know, the 2% increase or whatever. But my rent's already really high as it is, so I wasn't really impressed. But I realize it's the legal limit, you know? So Jeff Vanderkoy, species. Yeah, it's interesting. I lived because I know you guys are talking about the area around Orangeville there. I lived on the 25th side road by the second line where there's an entrance to the Mono Cliffs Park. That's where I grew up. It's crazy to think these little trees my parents planted when I was a kid are now like 30 feet tall. But I guess that's the way it works. All right, I'm gonna try clapping this thing real hard. I know that Al's gonna be back to pick me up in a minute, so I should probably start packing up, guys. But so far, it's been a half decent night. All right, everybody. Well, I guess I've hit my 1 hour limit here, and I am going to pack up my stuff so I'm ready to roll when Al shows up. And so far, things seem to be doing okay out here. It wasn't like an insane bite, but it was decent. You can hear the sound. Joe Allman, next time I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna make sure I have myself a Meigs, and I'm gonna try out your method there, and we're gonna make it happen. All right, everybody. We'll catch you guys later. I'll be heading home, getting some dinner going, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. Have yourselves a great night.